What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for a new daily update where we're going to talk about Bremer staying, Bremer not for sale, Bremer being a key player for Thiago Motta apparently, but is it true? Is it more so of the media putting it out there? Does it even make sense, that Bremer will be a key player under Thiago Motta? That's what we're going to talk about. A massive update on Rabiot as well, and a very interesting report on Barbieri, who maybe some of you actually forgot he was still on the payroll, but apparently could be part of the first squad, and not just part, but play a role for Thiago Motta next season. That's what we're going to talk about. But as always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump straight into it. Okay, so Bremer staying for now, or Bremer not for sale, or Bremer being a key player for Motta. That's what's out there. That besides the Corriere di Torino report saying that a lot of talks about his transfer, however, Motta views him as a key player for the new Juve. There are also reports out there that he doesn't want to join Man U right now, which I do understand, and that he prefers to stay for quote unquote one more year or so, but doesn't make sense for him to be a key player to Thiago Motta, because the big question is always back three, back four. And I did a podcast, a show that I cannot wait to release with you, with a very good guy, Kanan. People probably know him from Twitter. Very insightful, so stay tuned for that. For next week it will drop, and we spoke about Bremer as well, and he made some very good points. He might said something that will have you guys a bit shocked, but he made key points, because Bremer is a good one-on-one defender. He is, and in the back three it does suit him. Obviously it suits it better, even with Juric, one best defender in Serie A. That's where we bought him and overtook Inter in terms of bidding for him. But if we move to a back four, like one-on-one defending is gonna diminish just naturally. You're gonna need to defend a little bit more in open space, and that, is he good at that? The sample sizes are not big, and maybe the small sample sizes out there suggest that he will struggle with that as well. So that's the question out there. The fear for me has always been, how are you going to replace Bremer? I don't want to take a step forward and a step backwards. Who are we going to spend that money on and still remain as good or improve at the back? I'm going to say improve, because if you bring in Calafiori as well, you should be improving, I guess. But that's a question mark. Also, Bremer, as of now, the reporting is it's Man U who's making that offer. But if he's saying, no, I don't want to join Man U right now, then it kind of stops out there. It basically stops. I know the club needs some money. I know the club wants to bring in the money from a sale, potentially Bremer, to reinvest, not just for a defender, but maybe also for that midfielder or whatever. But as of now, he is kind of in control right now still. You can try to force him out, but I don't think the club's going to do that. But in terms of being a key player for Thiago Motta, I'm not so sure about that reporting. I will say pump the brakes, because purely based on back three, back four, it doesn't really make sense for him to be a key player. Like, it really doesn't, Like I said, on the ball, he's not that great, nor is Gatti, nor is actually Danilo, who is probably the best out of the three of them. Not probably, he is, but it's still not wow-ish. But Bremer is not really good with playing out from the back. He brought in Di Gregorio, or that's his idea. So I'm assuming that like he's not going to say, okay, Di Gregorio, you can do that, but I will live with Bremer absolutely not being good at playing out from the back. So very conflicting reports as of now. I still have a feeling Bremer is the guy that's going to be sacrificed in the summer, and my fear is just, how are we going to replace him? That's my that's my biggest fear right now, But again, only time will tell. Still early in the transfer window, so we will see how that will develop. Now, the following news is a big update on Rabiot. It's from Mirko Di Natale, and it's actually positive news, in terms of contract-wise. I will read out the news first, saying that negotiations are underway for the renewal of Rabiot's contract. The parties are intensifying discussions in search of an agreement. They are considering the possible duration of the contract. The situation is open, but there's a moderated sense of optimism. Now, if anyone told me that, or if I would have told you that a month or two ago, knowing that Thiago Motta is coming in and Allegri is gonna leave, you will say that's not gonna happen. But the more the time is passing, the more I start convincing myself that he is gonna stay for two reasons. One, there's still no offer besides Juve. Like no team is jumping to sign Rabiot. Not last season, not this season. It was Rabiot, Manu last season. It fell through and he stayed. But other than that, there are no real links that somebody wants to sign Rabiot. That's why I'm very confused because it feels like we're bidding against ourselves with the wages as well. You know, so that's one. And two, it's more of does he really be want to be here 100%? Because the club gave him time until was it mid-June or something. If you really want to be here, just say I want to be here. My mom, agent, Veronique, whatever how he calls him, how he calls him, yeah, her. Make it work. Just get it done. Get it done now, not June. Just tell the club I want to stay. Let's figure this contract situation out, and let's move on. Let's get on with it. But that's not the vibes you're getting. So I'm a bit confused with the reporting or like with the timeline of things. But the reporting is it's positive. He wants to stay. The club wants him to stay. He is feeling well at the club. He's doing well. Thiago Motta wants him to stay. And again, I made a podcast with Kanan next week, and he made a good point saying that maybe Thiago Motta is like, okay, if you don't need to spend that money on coal miners, I will keep kind of Rabiot and I will bring in a Zirkzee, you know, and I don't need the quote unquote real midfielder, but I will play a hybrid. I will play in between the lines. Maybe that's what is behind the Rabiot extension because I'm very confused with the reporting that you're going to keep Rabiot, but you're going to splash the money on coal miners. I will be a bit confused. Not the same type of players. I get it, you know, but I will be confused. Now, if Rabiot stays, people know what I think about Rabiot, but I've always said you need to help out the coach. If he wants Rabiot to stay, he wants him to stay, he stays, and you make it work. You convince me that you can make Rabiot a consistent player that is going to be dominant. Not have good moments, disappear, have a good season. Not that, but good, dominant, and also technically better because technically Rabiot was not a scrub if you watch him at PSG, but that kind of disappeared and it's frustrating to me because I know we can do better, you know, because he has the build for it, the physicality, the pace in terms of the first few meters, like he can bully or should be able to bully guys off the pitch, but he's not doing that, at least not on a consistent basis. So if Rabiot can get that under Motta, I would say I hold my hands up, but it is on Motta. You know, if you give him a long-term deal, even if it's 2 years, it's long-term. It's on you. You need to make it work. But again, only time will tell. Now to wrap it up, it's Barbieri news, who is on loan at Pisa, who had a fantastic season at Pisa. I've not watched a Pisa game just by reporting and all. He had a fantastic season. He played for us. Was it last season? And it was a complete disaster that game. It was, I forgot the game it was, but a rough day out for the kid. It was, you know, it was a rough day out. However, the reporting around Barbieri have been very consistent right now that it's been mentioned that, oh, he could be included in the deal. And then the better sources are saying, Thiago Motta really likes the kid. He really, really likes him, and he believes that he can make him work at the team. You know, even if it's a backup role, and you get De Sciglio out, and you use him like a De Sciglio type of player, give him minutes here and there, he believes he can do a job. Now, Romeo is saying that you should be closely assess the situation surrounding Barbieri because he's talented with a lot of qualities that fit well in Thiago Motta's style of play, and that's what the reporting is suggesting. You know, they are suggesting that he could be fitting in Thiago Motta's play. He is a player that Thiago Motta really likes, that he looks at and he's like, I can make it work. And if he can convince the club, I think the club will be like, yeah, even if we sell him, it's a couple of million. But if we keep him and the coach can get the other most of him and it makes it respectable and especially sustainable, you know, for the club, then it's also sustainable off the pitch. transfer fee. It's not that much, but the wages are extremely low, and you don't need to pay the transfer fee on top of that to get that type of player in. So it's very interesting. I don't think he's going to be part of the squad, but the vibe is that Thiago Motta wants to see a lot of these players in preseason. First couple of weeks, maybe speak to them, get a grasp of them before he's like, okay, let these players go, basically. Besides the usual suspects who Sule and Mekani, I think those are above the club, basically, in terms of they told him this is a situation we kind of need to recoup money for Sule and Mekani. We don't want to give him that, so he's kind of gone. But other players, a lot of players, I think he wants to evaluate before making a final decision. And Barbieri is one of them, so it's going to be interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of Barbieri, but then again, I've not seen Pisa, and maybe he transformed in a very good player. I don't know. So it's just putting my trust in Thiago Motta because that's the only thing we can do right now and see how it will turn out. But that's the news. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Barbieri news, the Rabiot extension, very possible now to happen, and especially the Bremer one, where apparently he could be a key player for Thiago Motta, which I'm very skeptical about at this moment in time. But let me know, like the video, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Ciao.